The other was 1980-81 when they were 2-0-2. From the faceoff, Marty McSorley goes back into his own zone. He's partnered with veteran Larry Robinson. Robinson playing in his 220th postseason game, an NHL record. He has played well in the postseason for the Kings. Long lead pass intended for Robitaille, intercepted by Messier at his own blue line. There was some concern about the health of Messier. He took a hit late in the game against Calgary, and Game 7 limped off, and people were wondering if he would be able to play tonight. Well, Messier is in the lineup. Kevin Lowe and Joe Murphy, who missed that last game, again are scratches. Murphy out with food poisoning. Lowe tested his ankle in the pregame skate, found that he was unable to go. He said he thinks he'll be back for Game 2. The same lineup for Los Angeles has defeated the Vancouver Canucks in 6 games.
Well, the coaching staff for the Kings are pleased about the fact that their team going into round 2 is healthy, is rested, and is confident, which they weren't any of those 3 last year at this time.
Wayne Gretzky is going to, I'm sure, have to play a me and my shadow game with Esa Tikkanen. The coaching staff said that he will have to play his way out of it, as he has had to do throughout his entire career.
Well, this is 144 playoff games he's played up till tonight, 294 points. So with somebody on his back, he's averaged 2.04 points a game. So this is nothing new for Wayne.
Shot from the blue line, and that quick glove save by Kelly Rudy. McIver lets another one go. This one is blocked by Steve Duchesne. We're in the first minute of this opening game. Gretzky has the puck, slides it across. Duchesne was unable to pick it up. Tikkanen circles in his own zone. Tikkanen, the leading playoff scorer for the Edmonton Oilers. He had the hat trick, including that overtime winner in the 7th and deciding game against Calgary. Duchesne is stopped at the line. In the neutral zone, Klima knocked off the puck. The Edmonton Oilers gained control. Charlie Huddy plays it back in his own zone. The Oilers aggressively trying to move it up the ice. Klima trying to get set for a shot. It's flipped out of the zone. Back after it goes Steve Duchesne. Sandstrom and Klima collided at the blue line. They both went down. Too far for Kudelski. It's picked off by Craig Muni. Dumped into the Los Angeles zone. McTavish races into the corner after it. He's bumped against the boards. Buchberger, a wrap around the tip. The puck loose in front of the net, and it's cleared away by the Kings. They start out into the center ice area. Lead pass for Kasper. He's checked at the line. It's fired in by Blake.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers have to be very careful of the LA Kings on the rush, watching the late man, especially when Gretzky's on.
Fired wide by Jeff Smith, and the net is knocked off its supports, resulting in a whistle with 17:49 remaining in the opening period.
Bob Gainey had him, I think. And Minnesota's going to be tough.
McSorley was knocked down in the corner. The puck loose along the boards. McIntyre trying to get it past Smith. He can't. Alkitas falls. Semenov, who was inserted into the lineup for that 7th game, applying some pressure. Trapped up behind the net was Rudy, but Semenov couldn't get a stick on it out in front of the net. Jelena bangs it off the boards. McSorley takes a hit. Tom Webster was saying this morning that he thought this would be a physical series, much like the Edmonton-Calgary series. And there's a good hit. Semenov stopped right at the line by Steve Duchesne. Loose puck picked up by Taylor. Taylor taken in against the boards. The puck fired into the Edmonton end. Charlie Huddy has it. He moves it ahead to Simpson. On the right side for Anderson, trying to drop it off for Messier. Broken up and dumped out of the zone. And there's a whistle on the play with 16:37 remaining in the period.
This team here is going to forecheck with a little more quickness than did the Vancouver Canucks.
Rudy had a 4-1-1 record against Edmonton during the regular season. Centering attempt, knocked down in front of the goal. Simpson along the boards. Battling with Larry Robinson, it comes back to the blue line. Craig Muni was able to keep it in. Robinson has to go back to the net. Robinson, a rink wide pass that misses Taylor and slides all the way down the ice. 4 minutes gone by in this opening period. It's still scoreless. The best scoring opportunities have belonged to the Oilers. Duchesne, a long shot that slides to the goal mouth. It's grabbed and held by Bill Ranford.
Well, it's been a long time since the LA Kings have won a game in the second round, let alone one at home. In 1977, they won a game on April the 17th. I think in Vancouver in '82, we let them win a game to make them feel good, as I recall, and then quickly snatched 2 in a row to beat them out.
Do we have time to talk about the fact you were suspended, though, in 1982?
Maybe that's why we only let them win one. Larry Robinson, the best defenseman by a long shot in round 1, says Don Whitman, John Garrett, and the LA coaching staff.
They were very high in their praise of the play of the veteran defenseman during that series with the Vancouver Canucks. A long shot from the point, steered to the corner. Charlie Huddy trying to move out. The Kings pressuring the Oilers in their own zone. Sandstrom trying to force that puck along the boards. It's knocked out to the center ice area. McTavish tried to pass for Lamb. It was broken up. It's chopped back out to the neutral zone. Blake was stopped by Lamb, who fires it back in with 15:25 remaining in this still scoreless opening period. Ahead for Sandstrom. He has Benning breaking up on the play. Benning stops at the blue line as it was broken up, and Lamb flips it down the ice. Blake goes after it into his own zone. Klima quickly on top of him. Granato having some problems getting out against Tikkanen, and Lamb will fire it back in. The Oilers now making a change as Benning comes up the ice. Fired in with Donnelly racing in after it. Casper in there as well. Casper gets the puck, walking up front. He slides and he scores!
Steve Casper, who is on a 3-game point streak, puts his team ahead on the first shot on goal by the Kings, and he caught Bill Ranford in the middle of a poke check position, and Ranford couldn't make the poke check and was wide open between the legs. The Oiler defenseman badly deked there, and Ranford, as I said, caught in the middle of a poke check, legs wide open. Smith is the defenseman that gets deked by Casper coming out, and the LA Kings get the first goal to go ahead here at the Great Western Forum.
Noted as a defensive forward, Steve Casper is number 2 in scoring for the Kings in the playoffs, and he gets them on the board, his 3rd of the playoffs. It's 1-0. An unassisted goal at 5:17.
You know, Don, in the first round, that line, their so-called checking line, Casper, Kudelski, and Donnelly, had 17 points. Pretty good for the line that's supposed to certainly take care of the other team's best, and Webster said they were certainly the unsung heroes of Series 1.
Craig McTavish injured in the center ice area. He may have caught a stick in the face.
One thing you know about McTavish, he's badly hurt or he'd be off, because he's the guy that crawls to the bench when he's hurt. I didn't see what happened, although the Oiler coaches seem to have seen it.
14:07 is the time remaining in the opening period. The Los Angeles Kings, on Steve Casper's goal, lead by 1. 14:07 remaining in the period. Steve Smith fires it in. He and Jeff Bukaboom dished out punishing hits in that series against Calgary. Messier trying to keep it in along the boards. He's out there with Anderson and Simpson. Smith for Simpson at the side of the net. Out front, and Messier couldn't get a good shot away. Picked up by Anderson. His shot deflects up high, knocked down in front of the net by McSorley. Messier in the corner. He's bumped by Halkitis. Halkitis goes down, and finally Elliott knocks it the length of the ice.
One of the real tests for the LA Kings is, can they handle the big, quick, strong Oiler forwards in their own zone. They didn't do it very well then.
13:26 remains in the period. Casper against Lamb in the face-off circle. They tie each other up, and Larry Robinson jigs the puck up. Coaching staff is saying that Robinson has a very calming effect on the other members of the team because of his playoff experience.
Nobody's got more than Larry Robinson. He may just be able to get one more cup for his mantelpiece this season, but they're a long way from it yet.
Charlie Huddy has his rink-wide pass intercepted by Sandstrom, and he fired it wide. Mark Lamb has his pass knocked down by Granato, fired back in. Moved up along the boards by McIver, and going back after it is Robinson. Lamb chases him. Robinson circles back of his own net. Moves it ahead now to Gretzky. Here they come, three of them. Gretzky having problems controlling it as he was checked, and back comes Edmonton. Here's a 2-on-1. Deaconin across for Lamb, and Lamb went in a little too deep, and then the net was knocked off its supports. Lamb didn't get the shot away. 12:23 remains in the period. Your speculation that Sandstrom was having some problems with his skates verified in that picture we just saw. Rudy plays it up high on the glass. Kept in at the point by Muni. His long shot knocked down at the side of the net. Graves was there but couldn't get it past Rudy. And again, the Kings are having some problems getting it out of their own zone. Finally, Robitaille starts away. Robitaille shovels it through to the goal mouth, but it's broken up and put down the ice. Semenoff racing after it. He collides back there with Benning.
The LA King forwards, Don, are going to have a tough time with that big, strong Oiler defense. They're not going to be allowed to go to the net every time they want to.
We've got a penalty coming up with 11:41 remaining in the period. John Tonelli is out there to take the face-off. He's flanked by Granato and Gretzky. McTavish is out there in the penalty-killing role along with Messier. And the Oilers, of course, always aggressive with their penalty killing. McTavish tied up back of the net. He'll get the puck again. McTavish tried to leave it there for Messier. It went off his skate, but the Los Angeles Kings are having problems gaining control. Finally, Blake gets it and shoots it in. Ranford stopped it back of the net. Whipped around the glass, but not out. Charlie Huddy's clearing attempt was blocked at the line. Craig Muni will try and come out the other side, and this time he succeeds with 1:18 remaining in the penalty. Gretzky fires it in on the right side. Going after it is Charlie Huddy along with Tonelli. They tie each other up. McTavish is there, but Gretzky gets to it first. Back to the line to Blake. Back to Gretzky. Over to Blake. His long shot goes wide. Tonelli checked back of the net. Renato has lost his stick. Muni is in there along with Messier. They get it loose, and Charlie Huddy will flip it down the ice.
Pucks that are shot from the middle of the blue line that just missed the net are back out in front in record time. The low yellow part of the boards here is very lively.
39 seconds remaining in the penalty. Todd Ellick trying to pick it up off the end boards. He couldn't center it. It comes loose, and a shot right on by Robitaille. The save made by Bill Ranford. Just 20 seconds left in the penalty. Back comes Dave Taylor. Taylor going around Lamb, still controlling it. Up for McSorley, and his shot is over top of the net off the glass. And Tikkanen now will kill off some seconds as he gets it across to Lamb. Lamb trying to work through, trying to get around Benning. Knocked off the puck by McSorley, and the penalty to Graves is over.
Well, a great chance by Marty McSorley, who jumped off the point as the power play point man. You say it hit the glass. I thought it might have hit the post now.
Casper spun around. The puck is loose. Picked up by Graves. Graves throws it ahead to Semenoff. Jelena catching up with the play. Semenoff tried to slide it through to Jelena, a little too far for him. Jelena tried to get it back out front, and it was blocked by the Kings. Semenoff battling along the boards, gets it loose to Jelena. Jelena circling in the corner against Kudelski, and finally Kudelski gets it out of the zone. Too far for Kasper, and the Oilers take control. 8:59 remaining in the period. 1-0. The Los Angeles Kings lead on an unassisted goal at 5:17 by Steve Kasper.
Pretty cautious period here. 4 to 3 are the shots. Goalies have had about one tough save apiece.
Here's a chance for Tonelli, and it's whistled down. It was offside. But it's still a 1-0 game on the Steve Kasper goal. Puck loose in the corner, picked up by Sandstrom. Sandstrom drives it in. Granato racing in after it. Granato along the boards is checked by Craig Muni, and he moves it out into the center ice area where Anderson starts back. Anderson tried to drop it back to the line, picked up by Messier. Messier takes a shot from a sharp angle. The save by Rudy, and Gretzky flips it out of the zone and then takes a hit from Tikkanen. Here comes Granato in across the line. Over to Sandstrom. Sandstrom going in. The save by Ranford. Ranford had a little trouble picking it up. And now we've got a scrap going on and the penalty coming up. Anderson and Sandstrom.
Well, when you go to the net without the puck, I've said this many times, good things usually happen. The nicest thing might be a goal. In this instance, it caused a penalty. At least one penalty to the Edmonton Oilers. And we know this, that the Oilers have got this secret about how to play in the spring down as pat as any group I've seen. And this is going to be a great series before it's over. This is a very tough game for the Oilers. I really think that part of the reason that Muckler went with Ranford, one, they want to get him back in. He was great last year. And two, it gave them a new focus. When they're tired, they're beat up, and here we are back at the rink again, they're saying.
McTavish was tied up as he brought the puck into the Los Angeles zone. Messier is out there, penalty killing as well as Sandstrom leads the attack. He's upset by Messier at the line, and back comes Tikkanen. He overskated it, gets it back again. Now he loses it to Sandstrom, but Tikkanen, ever aggressive, gets right back into it. The fans react as he pushes and shoves with Thomas Sandstrom. They think there should have been a penalty call, but there was no whistle from referee Bill McCreary with 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Glenn Anderson.
Well, Tikkanen is his usual aggravating self as he gave a facial massage to Mr. Sandstrom after they both fell.
Robitaille back to the net for Gretzky, to the line to Blake. His long shot deflects wide. Steve Duchesne trying to pitch in from the point and keep it in, but it's picked up by Charlie Huddy. He moves it ahead. Shot right on as it's deflected. Norm McIver racing up from his blue line spot to get into the play, and he took the shot, and Rudy had to grab the deflection.
That was a strange play on the 2-on-1 because the attempted pass across was deflected right into Rudy and nearly beat him. And there you can see McTavish's lip where he was hit. Here's the 2-on-1. Huddy makes a nice outlet pass, and away they go. McIver, now he's going to try to pass it, and you see it hit Blake's stick and got on the net, and before McTavish could find the loose puck, Kelly Rudy did and negated the chance.
31 seconds remaining in the penalty.
Well, we know one thing, no team wins any round, and it's even truer as the rounds advance without getting superior goaltending. And we've got 3, and if you want to count for a few, 4 pretty good goalies that may play before this series is over.
Some have suggested that one of the reasons that Rudy has had such an outstanding season is that he knows he has a reliable backup this year in Daniel Berthiaume and doesn't feel all the pressure that he had on him last year.
And he didn't play 60 games. He played 40 or 40, a little more than 40. So I think that was a nice change for Kelly Rudy. And don't forget, it was Mono that laid him low last year.
Out of the penalty box comes Glenn Anderson, and back comes Robitaille. Lead pass to Duchesne. Duchesne back to Robitaille. He faked the shot. Robitaille out front, and that shot is deflected and grabbed by Bill Ranford. 5:38 remains in the period. It's still 1-0.
Tells you, I guess, that and there was one fight, and it was a pretty good one, that as long as the players don't push and shove and yap back to each other and all the hitting is above board, and that was as tough a series as I've ever seen, that this great game is superb. The referees will let them play, and the players will be sensible about it. We're in that series.
Penalty coming up here against Los Angeles. So the Edmonton Oilers get their first power play of the hockey game as Mike Donnelly skates directly to the box.
The minute I mentioned sensibility, an insensible penalty was taken by Mike Donnelly as he grabbed the Oiler forward as they passed about halfway to the zone. Now watch 23 right here. And he just hooks Jelena off his feet as Jelena was attempting to harass the King defenseman. And Donnelly, who's one of the premier penalty killers, will now watch his teammates trying to kill that penalty off. A needless one, and one that he'd like to have back, I'm sure. There's the Oilers' power play against the LA Kings this year. And as we're sitting up here, Don and I, there's, see the wave down there, and the lower right-hand corner, that's me. And the press box is jammed.
As is the Great Western Forum. Another sellout. Last time they failed to sell out the building was back on December 5th against Winnipeg. They established a record for consecutive sellouts this year, 28 in a row. Messier in across the line. Anderson is unable to get by Robinson, and the puck is fired the length of the ice.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers scored 5 power play goals in round 1 for a 15.6%, which is away under the percentage that they would like to have and that most teams have.
Tikkanen fires it in. Messier in the corner, checked there by Blake, ahead to Casper. He is having some problems getting out. Finally, he is able to shuttle it down the ice.
Well, one of the secrets to a good power play is a team's ability to recover pucks that are loose in the offensive zone. And so far tonight, the Edge would have to go to the Kings on this penalty.
Casper gets it again as he flips it in with 48 seconds remaining in the Donnelly penalty. Here comes Messier. Messier into the slot area to Jelena. He's checked, and the puck dumped down the ice again. So far, the Kings have done a great job of killing off this penalty to Mike Donnelly.
They can't get the Oilers can't get control in the Kings zone.
Graves tries to flip it out front. It comes out front. They jam away at it, and Kelly Rudy knocks it to the corner. Kelly Rudy is down.
Robinson is going to get a cross-checking penalty, I think, as he decked the Oiler forward, Martin Jelena, I believe, in front of the net. And Jelena hasn't moved very much at all. I don't know where he got this. Robinson just was explaining to McCreary that the stick came up and hit him in the, maybe his own stick hit him in the face, but this is the second Oiler that's been slow to get up. The first, McTavish, is back in action. And they're now having a look here. You know, this could cost Larry Robinson the rest of the game if he's the guilty party, and I think he is.
It appeared as though Robinson flattened Jelena with a cross-check.
Well, Gretzky's over there arguing long and hard, and McCreary's saying, let's have a look at it here now. It's in front of the net. There's Jelena. Kudelski comes up. And there's the cross-check. And McCreary saw it, so it was Robinson. Now the question is how long. I think Robinson's going to go here, by the way the argument's going. That's the oldest pair of guys arguing at one time in the National League. Larry Robinson is going to get 5 in a game.
Robinson was arguing with referee Bill McCreary, but now he skates to the exit leading to the Kings dressing room. And you can tell that he is less than pleased with the sentence as he is gone for the night.
I don't know. Has he ever had one of those before?
He didn't have a penalty coming into this game in the playoffs this year.
Well, he's a veteran defenseman, and there are a few of them around who can play the game without taking penalties. And he's not a big-time hitter, but he does take you out. Now, Wayne's arguing at his very political best right here. But McCreary's got no choice. There's the cross check. That's 2 minutes. Now, if Jelena's hurt, it's 5. It's as simple as that. And it was by Larry Robinson standards, a vicious cross check.
Kudelski had Jelena engaged initially, and then Robinson came in, and he draws the 5-minute major and is gone for the balance of the hockey game. That will be a blow to the Los Angeles Kings. They rely on the leadership. Larry Robinson in his 19th consecutive year of playoff action.
Well, they're certainly not going to be as good without him as they are with him. 220th playoff game, 143 points, and it's not the points that make him such a good player, but 220 games, Don, that's like playing 2 3/4 extra seasons.
Back to the line to Klima. Klima's shot, it's blocked, and Duchesne is hurt. Back to Klima. Klima goes cross ice. Tikkanen fakes the shot over to Klima, having problems controlling it. He kept it in the zone. The Kings now just 1 man short as Donnelly is on the ice. Over to Tikkanen. Tikkanen winds up, his shot right on. Anderson trying to jam the rebound, but Rudy covers up.
You know, a good goalie makes the save, but an excellent goalie controls the rebound, as did Rudy there, because Anderson was just waiting to pop it in. Well, Rudy here on this, he makes a nice save on a good low point shot from Tikkanen, and then watch how he quickly takes the possibility of a rebound goal away from Anderson right there. And also the King defenseman pretty quickly got in to give their goalie a hand. Just watch where Anderson ends up, behind the net, going quicker than he wants.
Well, this is what the Edmonton Oilers have done at the Great Western Forum over the past 4 playoff series. They have won 7 and lost 2 games. This is the opening game of the Smythe Final. Edmonton beating Calgary in 7. LA getting past Vancouver in 6 games. Simpson picks that puck up. Simpson throws it up front for Anderson. A weak shot. He didn't get good wood on it, and Rudy sprawled to get a piece of it. Tikkanen's long shot goes wide of the net. Simpson has it in the corner. Back to the point. Long shot deflected up against Rudy as Anderson got his stick on it, and that hit the chest of Kelly Rudy and then is dumped down the ice. 3:57 remaining in the 5-minute major. 2:21 left in the period.
And Kelly Rudy looks as sharp as I've seen him. We were talking a lot about Fuhr and Ranford, and there's Rudy at the other end doing a great job.
Rudy in the final weeks of regular season play had 3 shutouts, including a 2-0 whitewashing of the Edmonton Oilers.
He's also 3rd in the National League playoffs in goals against, tied for 2nd in wins, and 3rd in save percentage. So we needn't say anything more about the way he's playing.
Klima led the Oilers in scoring with 40, getting his 38th, 39th, and 40th goals in the final game of the season against Winnipeg. Here comes Klima, a long pass that Jelena couldn't handle, and it's dumped down the ice again. Klima gives it back to his goaltender, Ranford, as he was being harassed there by Gretzky, and Ranford had to quickly flip it back to the net. You see that in Europe a lot, but it's something that's usually foreign in the National Hockey League.
I hope Klima tipped Ranford off that he might do it, because he could catch you by a big surprise and cost your team a goal.
Penalty killing here by Tony Granato. He stopped at the line, and now Smith has it. Smith fires it up in the wing for Semenoff. Too far for him. Jelena takes his man into the corner. It comes back to the point. Smith with a shot. That's deflected by Rudy. We're into the final minute of this opening period. 1-0, the Kings leading. Semenoff slides it out front. Graves and Jelena couldn't get a shot away, and it's flipped down the ice to the applause of the capacity crowd at the Great Western Forum.
Well, don't forget, this is a major penalty. There's 2:15 left. The LA Kings collapsing right in deep to try and block shots for their goalie Rudy.
Semenoff back to the line. Smith with a shot deflected. Simpson behind the net to Messier. Messier back to the point to Tikkanen. Tikkanen to Messier. Messier was checked by McIntyre, and the puck is fired down the ice with just 12 seconds left in the penalty.
Well, certainly it looks like the LA Kings could be re-inspired again by killing off this long penalty.
And as the buzzer sounds, a long shot on goal. The period ends 1-0. The Los Angeles Kings leading.
Well, Larry Robinson gone, 5 in a game. It isn't that they're going to miss him. They certainly are. But now the 5th and 6th defensemen are going to have to play when they not normally would. Maybe killing a penalty, maybe in the last minute of a period, maybe against the Oilers' best line. And so his loss will hurt, but so will the fact these other guys are in situations they wouldn't normally be put into.
Craig Simpson gets it cross ice. There's the blast by Tikkanen, and it's held by Kelly Rudy. Coach Tom Webster of the Kings has some thoughts about why the Oilers are so successful late in the year.
Well, the Oilers' mystique is simply they know how to win. And when a hockey club knows how to win in the critical times of the season and playoffs, they are able to turn it up another notch. And this is something that I really feel that our hockey club, the Los Angeles Kings, are working towards and have achieved so far this year, but need to achieve it even a little bit more with playoff competition.
I've heard it said that the Oilers plan each year as though it's a 100-game season instead of 80, and they get ready for the final 20.
Well, it might be. I agree with Tom completely. Teams that can't turn it up a notch, that are at the top of their game to finish where they finish, don't last long in the playoffs. Maybe this year Chicago is a good example.
Messier shot gloved by Kelly Rudy. The net knocked off its supports by Halkitis as he went flying into it, but another fine glove save as Mark Messier was robbed in the slot.
Well, that was a top stop by Kelly Rudy on Mark Messier, who's got a real good wrist shot, and when he gets into the top of the circles or closer, the goaltender doesn't have much time to make that kind of a stop.
Number 2 all-time in playoff scoring, behind Wayne Gretzky. 208 points for Mark Messier. Gretzky with 294 career playoff points.
Well, I saw Messier walk into the rink tonight, Don, and I was going to go over and wish him, good luck, and I'm glad to see you're not hurt, but I saw the look in his eyes, and I decided to turn the other way. He was in one of those gazes you can see him in when he's very serious about his work.
50 seconds remaining in the Larry Robinson penalty. Thomas Sandstrom is serving the final seconds of that 5-minute major that was assessed towards the tail end of the opening period. McSorley whips it around the boards and he sends it down the ice. Back after it is McIver. McIver made his debut with the Oilers in the same game as Brant Fuhrer returned to the Edmonton lineup in New Jersey back in February. Fuhrer coming back after that suspension. Puck loose in the Los Angeles zone. Dumped down the ice by John McIntyre. Just 20 seconds remaining in the major.
Well, again, the Kings not giving the Oilers much of a chance in this part of Robinson's major penalty to set up in the offensive zone. When they did that in the earlier part, they got some chances.
Clayman checked by Duchesne in the corner. And then Granato comes flying in as the penalty expires. They tie it up for a whistle on the play, and we'll be right back after this message. And it was a 3-goal performance in the third period of the first game by Vancouver against Los Angeles. They have not given up a third period goal since then.
Well, you have to win a game in 2 periods because the other team won't give you a chance in the third. You got a good chance of winning.
Tikkanen shot hit Klima in the back, and he felt that. Klima skating off to the bench. Granato shot right on, and the rebound picked up by Steve Smith.
Klima doesn't even like blocking shots in the front.
Granato's shot deflects up into the crowd, out of play with 17:52 remaining in the period. Effective penalty killing on that 5-minute major by the Los Angeles Kings.
Well, when you add the penalty killing and the power play stat for the LA Kings during the season, they had the second best combined record to the Chicago Blackhawks. And Peter Klima got hit Whoa, there's a little glass massage by Rob Blake. Seems to be playing a little more aggressively, Blake. He's a big, strong guy. There's Klima getting hit in the back. Klima says, I have a no shot blocking clause in my contract. You know that?
Taken and let that shot go, and people don't really give him credit for having the blistering shot that he does have. He's more noted for his ability to get under an opponent's skin.
Here he is, the checking center, and he leads his team in scoring in the playoffs. What a great combination.
Messier's rink-wide pass. That's deflected in. Back to the net. Duchesne has it. He plays it off the boards for Gretzky. Gretzky gets it to Granato. Granato working against Craig Muni. Muni ties him up as the puck goes to the corner. Jeff Smith takes a hit there from Sandstrom. Gretzky gets it loose. Out front to Duchesne. Duchesne shot a screened drive, a weak one, but Ranford didn't see it, and it just rolled past the far post.
Puck bouncing. Nobody could get their stick on it for a good shot, most notably Duchesne.
That's something that Gretzky likes to do from back of the net. Look for that defenseman sneaking in from the point. That time he found Duchesne. Here's the shot by Esa Tikkanen that just goes wide. Graves takes a shot from a sharp angle. That's kicked out by Rudy. McIver at the point for Tikkanen. Tikkanen tries to risk one. That deflects up against the glass. 16:44 remaining in the period. 1-0. Los Angeles Kings continuing to lead on that first period goal by Steve Kasper.
I'm sure that John Muckler was pleading with his forwards to get some heavy-duty physical forechecking going on this 5-man defense unit now that Robinson is history.
Alkidas fires it in, takes a hit from Buchberger as the puck goes to the corner to McIver. Blake intercepts at the line. His shot is blocked. Dave Brown knocks it out to center ice. He was racing after it against Alkidas. The Los Angeles defenseman got there first. Over to Todd Ellick. Ellick a long shot that got through Ranford. But fortunately, it didn't go across that line. Charlie Huddy into the slot area, tried to drop it back. It's intercepted. Robitaille to Duchesne. Duchesne trying to move in. He's working against Smith. Taken off the puck. It comes back to the line. McSorley's shot deflects. That goes off Ellick to the far corner. There have been a lot of strange deflections in front of the nets tonight.
Not as good a job done by either defense corps at clearing the people out from in front. And it hasn't cost the team a goal yet, but it may if they don't improve that part of it. Both teams.
Buchberger takes a hit from McSorley. Flipped up along the boards. Anderson trying to start away. He's checked. Now Simpson picks it up. Simpson puts it into the zone, but Donnelly fires it down the ice. 14:59 remaining in the period. This is an icing call against Los Angeles. Our Stanley Cup coverage continues in a moment. And wherever you're looking in this evening across the CBC television network, we hope you're enjoying the action from the Great Western Forum in Inglewood. Steve Kasper scoring the only goal at 5:17 of the opening period. We have 14:52 remaining in the second. Larry Robinson out of the game. Cross-checking call on Martin Jelena late in the first period.
At one time, Don, the shots were 6-5 for the Kings. They're now 17-8 for the Oilers. A lot of them coming in that 5-minute major to Robinson.
Jeff Smith to Tikkanen. His pass rink wide to Anderson. Messier racing in across the line. Anderson tried to get it to him, and it deflected up over the glass and out of play. Well, Coach John Muckler has these thoughts. His scouting report on the Los Angeles Kings.
Well, you have to fear their offensive power, and they go to the net very well. They have good puck handlers. They read the ice very well. Of course, they have the best in the business, that Wayne Gretzky. And anytime Wayne gets the puck, the people away from the puck will go to the net very well. And they've inherited that from Wayne, and the whole club does it very well.
Gretzky, the leading scorer for the Kings in the playoffs with 10 points. He was shut out in that last game, the series pitching game against the Vancouver Canucks. Messier controlling, gets it back to the line. Smith's shot right on, and the rebound bounced away from Tikkanen. Granato picks it up at the line. He dodges a check. Granato is upset. Shane with a shot that steered to the corner. Gretzky almost stole it. Now Anderson is checked. As Granato tried to come in across the line. Spun around. Here's a chance for Sandstrom to Shane. His shot just goes wide.
Well, Anderson's going to get a penalty. McCurry let him go on a very debatable hook, but he couldn't let him go on a non-debatable hold.
Holding Tony Granato. A power play coming up for Los Angeles. Against Robitaille. Lamb gets the draw. Back to Huddy. Huddy plays it up along the glass, but Blake keeps it in. Over to Benning. There's his shot. It's blocked before it gets to the net. Blake back of the net for Alec. Alec is tied up there by Huddy. Gets loose. Throws it back to the point to Blake. There's his shot. It's blocked. Loose in front of the net. McIver starts away. He has McTavish with him. McTavish coming in against Benning. Benning checks him, and Taylor starts back. He leaves it for Alec. Drop pass to Taylor. Taylor is checked. It comes back to the line. Picked up there by Blake. Long shot. That's deflected wide off the end boards. Ranford dives on top of it.
Well, Mark Lamb, who we saw throw his body in front of Al McInnes' great point shot on a number of occasions in round one, did it again here and went off in considerable pain. He wouldn't lie there, and he went off on 1.5 legs, and there he is on the bench. Turned around so the trainer can get a look at it. Now watch Lamb go down to block this shot by Rob Blake, who's got one of the better shots in the National League. May have got it just below the pants and above the shin pad, hopefully up on the muscle part of the leg and not on the right on the knee.
Harry, I would also think that a lot of these Edmonton players are coming into this series very, very sore after that physical battle with Calgary.
Without question, the trainer's the busiest guy in the rink before the game tonight.
Sandstrom steals and he scores!
Well, the Oilers got burned on a face-off alignment where not everybody did their job. The puck kind of was half won, and then nobody picked Sandstrom up. In all fairness, Smith 5 stumbled to give Sandstrom the room. Now here's the draw. Sandstrom comes around from the middle. The Oilers center left Tonelli, so Bookeboom had to take him, and the next thing you know, Smith and Bookeboom got mixed up. Sandstrom didn't, and it's 2-0 for the LA Kings.
A power play goal for Thomas Sandstrom, his third of the playoffs, coming at 7:08. John Tonelli draws the assist, and it's 2-0 Los Angeles.
Sandstrom, one of the better stick handlers in confined space, and there was a perfect example of what I was talking about.
He had his problems in the Vancouver series. Back to the line. Muni couldn't get a shot away. And as they try and flip it in, it goes over the glass, out of play. 12:31 remaining in the second period. Graves and McSorley were having words after the whistle went. And with Larry Robinson out of the game right now, I think Tom Webster's instructions to Marty McSorley are stay on the ice.
Absolutely. There's no question about the fact. Here's the goal. Now you see Sandstrom looped around from standing on the inside hash mark. He makes a nice shot once he gets in there. Bookeboom and Smith got mixed up. The defensive center didn't stay with Tonelli long enough, and that's what caused the mix-up.
Well, Sandstrom this year had a career season in goals and total points with the Los Angeles Kings. And that goal he scored was the only shot that the Kings had on this power play. Craig Muni pinching in from the point, keeps it in the zone. Semenoff back of the net. Semenoff centers it, intercepted by the Kings. 12 minutes still to play in the second period. It's 2-0 Los Angeles. Graves starts away, being hounded by Donnelly. Graves goes to the corner after it, and he's going to get a penalty. And he is less than pleased with that call by referee McCreary. That comes with 11:57 remaining in the period. And that may have been the best timeout that John Muckler ever called in his coaching career when they fell behind 3-0, because they came back with that goal before the period ended by Tikkanen. And of course, they went on to the overtime victory on Tikkanen's goal.
I think this is one of the few shifts McTavish has taken since he was hit in the mouth with that stick by Bob Halkitis.
Stanley battling in the corner. He always keeps those feet moving.
He's very difficult to pin along the boards.
Back to the line to Blake. Blake and Duchesne switch spots. Gretzky moves back to help out. For Tonelli. Tonelli centers it. Back to the line to Duchesne. He lets the shot go. It's blocked in front of the net. And McTavish gets control. He flips it out to McIver. Back to McTavish. McTavish puts on the brakes. Looks for someone to pass to. Finds the man in the point covered, so flips it back to the net. 1 minute remaining in the penalty. Here comes Sandstrom. He scored on the last power play. Sandstrom being bothered there by Smith. Still has it. Leaves it back to the net for Robitaille. Smith goes after him. Up front to Sandstrom. He backhands it wide. Sandstrom gets it again. His shot kicked out by Ranford. And Sandstrom is knocked down and hurt in front of the Edmonton net. What a great opportunity Sandstrom had, firing wide on a backhand.
You know, Don, if he hadn't turned to backhand it, he would have seen his buddy Gretzky standing all alone beside the net and could have slid the puck to him for a top tap in. Now here comes Sandstrom at the top of the screen getting hit. And this is what held him up as far as getting back into action's concerned. And here's the chance I'm talking about. Robitaille gets the puck out. Now, if he'd have just looked up instead of turning, there's Gretzky in his spot, you know, with his feet on the goal line on the wrong side so he can tap it in.
10:34 remaining in the period. 37 seconds left in the penalty to Adam Graves. 2-0 Los Angeles leading. A first period goal by Steve Kasper. Thomas Sandstrom scoring on the power play in the second.
Well, we're nearly halfway through this game. The Oilers have all the shots and the Kings have all the goals.
McTavish and Lamb are out there killing off this penalty, along with the twin towers of power back in the blue line, Bukaboom and Smith. We're talking to Bukaboom today and complimenting him on the tremendous playoff series he had against Calgary.
He's had a very good year, but he's capped it off with, in my opinion, a brilliant performance in the playoffs in round 1. And I'm sure the Calgary Flame players will tell you that they all, at one time or another, were tagged by a body check from Jeff Bukaboom.
Benning didn't quite understand the reason for the whistle. It was a delayed offside call.
Cap Rader was also singing the praise of Brian Benning, who was benched for a number of games, about a third of the way through. And this guy with a lot of skill, who sometimes gets out-muscled, and you wonder a little bit about his intensity, didn't sulk when he didn't play. He just got down to work and came back, and they never think of taking him out of the lineup now.
He's an Edmonton native, as is Kelly Rudy, looking forward to going back to Northlands Coliseum for games 3 and 4. Here's a shot right on. Ranford was looking for the rebound as Robitaille let it go. Centering attempt is blocked as Graves comes out of the penalty box. Puck knocked to the line and out. McTavish racing after it. McTavish trying to get around McSorley. McSorley recovered in time. Oh, a good hit there as Taylor stepped into Lamb. Puck back in the Edmonton zone. And it's caught up in the equipment of Jeff Smith with 9:32 remaining in the second period.
You notice the glass give there, Don. That saves a lot of guys from getting hurt in this building.
And just before that hit by Taylor, he took a stick in the face as he was trying to move out of the zone. Anderson to Messier. He fires it in. Simpson is pinned against the boards. The puck comes loose to Gretzky. Gretzky trying to break in. Jeff Smith stayed with him and comes back to Blake. His shot is blocked before it gets to the net. Greg Muni dropping in front of that one. Now Anderson has it. Anderson to Jeff Smith. The young defenseman did a pretty good job of staying with Gretzky as Gretzky attempted to break away.
Played very well in Game 7. To be thrown in there for the first game with Kevin Lowe's injury.
Sandstrom's shot right on. And the big rebound is fired out of the zone and down the ice. Halkitis goes back after it for Los Angeles. Intercepted by Jelena. His shot, he scores!
Martin Jelena gets his first goal of this night playoffs in 1991 and also gets his first goal of the season against the LA Kings on a turnover in the LA zone right here. Bob Halkitis, a backhand pass to nobody. Jelena picks it off, gets the defense backing in. I don't know that Kelly Rudy got a good look at it, and it's by him for a goal. Backhand passes, if they have to go very far in your own end, you hold your breath on them. This one went right to the long guy. Jelena wires it past Rudy.
Oh, on the backhand pass, as you said, in your own end, you better know where it's going. Here comes Donnelly, his shot up high, the rebound, and he tried to backhand that past Ranford, and Ranford recovers with 8:18 remaining in the second period. Play just underway. Jelena's goal at 11:30, an unassisted tally. 2-1 now, the Kings leading the Oilers. The Oilers with a 19-15 edge in shots on goal. Charlie Huddy moves it out of the zone. Semenoff knocks it away from Donnelly. He knocks down Los Angeles defenseman Halkitis. Now the puck comes loose to McSorley. A quick shot right on. And Ranford makes another good save for the Edmonton Oilers with 7:41 remaining in the period. We remind you this program is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our viewing audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, distribution, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of Molson Brewery and the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
Well, 7:41 to go here in the second period. 2-1 the LA Kings. And in the second round over the years, the Oilers have been nearly perfect. The only loss, of course, was the year to Calgary in that great series.
Steve Smith certainly remembers that one. I'm sure he still has some recurring nightmares about that pass that bounced in off Grant Fuhrer to give Calgary the victory in the 7th game.
I'm sure he's sick of being reminded about it. He's played an awful lot of great games since that disaster.
One of the steadiest defensemen in the National Hockey League right now. Pass intercepted by Klima. Klima's shot. Big rebound as Rudy made the initial save. Now it's flipped over top of the net by Lamb, and it goes over the glass, out of play. The Kings have been guilty of a couple of giveaways in their own zone.
Don't forget now, since the first period, about halfway through the first period, or a little more than halfway, Larry Robinson's gone, so they're playing without their best defenseman, and they're only playing 5 of them. And there's one of those backhand passes. That one made it, but a pass into the middle didn't. And Kelly Rudy has to make a stop there, and then another one right here. Well, he didn't have to make it. It went up over him. But that's 2 successive shifts, 2 successive giveaways. 1 for a goal and 1 for a chance.
How do you react as a coach when you see in your own zone a player make a pass in that center ice area rather than go up along the board?
Right under the bench. You dive right under the bench and you look up to the trainer and say, did anything happen? I'm sure they've been reminded of many times. Not that I'm against backhand passes. They should be under 10 or 15 feet in your own zone.
Lamb taking the face-off for Edmonton, gets it back to the point to Steve Smith. Steve Smith centering attempt. It bounced away from Klima. Lima, however, keeps it in the zone for Lamb. Lamb behind the net, takes a couple of hits. Picks it up along the boards for Tikkanen. His shot right on, and it's picked off by Kasper as he starts back. Kasper knocked off the puck by Smith, and then Smith had it tied up in his skates as he was backing in towards the net. Couldn't get it loose. Here's Gretzky! Saved by Radford as he did the splits on a turnover in the Edmonton zone. 6:46 remains in the second period. Vancouver Canucks, and the closest to Gretzky among active players is, of course, Mark Messier. Messier has it now. He's number 2 in all-time points. And Glenn Anderson is tied for fourth. His shot stopped by Rudy. There's a penalty coming up. A power play chance for the Edmonton Oilers with 6:33 remaining in period 2.
They did then get mixed up and they had to tackle.
McSorley whips it around the boards and out of the zone. The Oilers have been concerned all season about their power play. They had a 5-minute penalty tonight that they failed to really get many good scoring opportunities on. That was the sentence to Robinson, and they're having problems again with Steve Duchesne off the ice. Messier tried to flip it across to the left side, picked up there by Simpson. Simpson was looking for Anderson. It deflected over to Messier. Messier checked in the corner. The puck goes to Marty McSorley. McSorley plays it off the glass and down the ice.
Marty McSorley's going to put in a 40-minute evening tonight with Robinson gone.
Messier wins the race to the puck. Puts it along the boards. Comes back to the point now. Kuyver was able to keep it in to Messier. He takes a bit of a beating along the boards from John McIntyre. McIntyre continuing that battle, and he gets it out of there. And then he puts a glove into the face of Craig Simpson, and Simpson protests to referee Bill McCreary, but to no avail, but there should have been a penalty call.
Well, Simpson, you know, has the reputation of being the whiner to the officials. Whether he earns it or not, I don't know. But guys that do that often enough don't get breaks when the referee has to make the mind up. Granato's a guy for LA who does it.
Gretzky breaks up the play in his own zone, brings it out to center ice, and he's tripped up by Jelena. The two of them went down with 17 seconds remaining in the penalty. Here comes Steve Smith. He drops it off for Jelena. He scored the only goal for the Oilers. Jelena still controlling, gives it to Smith. Smith back to the net. Smith is checked there. The puck goes to the boards. Jelena has it. 3 seconds left in the penalty. Jelena finally checked as the penalty expires. They can't get the puck out of the zone. They were trying to hit Duchesne with a breakaway pass as he came out of that penalty box. Duchesne takes it back of his own net. Clearing attempt blocked by Lamb. Lamb shot knocked down, and finally it moves ahead to Gretzky, who starts away for Los Angeles with 4:10 remaining in the period. Benning shoots it to the side of the net. Smith has it there. He fires at the length of the ice. Rudy will be forced to make the save with Marty McSorley back after it, and Lamb in on him quickly. On the right side to Taylor. Taylor had problems controlling it as he was checked by Klima. Back comes Jeff Smith to Lamb. He deflects it into the zone. Alkitas behind the net. Battling with Klima. The puck comes out front. Jeff Smith couldn't get a shot away as he was spun around. 3:30 remaining in the second period. One of those dangerous passes across the front of your own net. And it's played down the ice by Simpson. Going back after it is Marty McSorley. 3:15 remaining in this second period. 2-1, Los Angeles leading.
The Oilers no shots on the last power play or the one before that. They haven't been sharp offensively tonight with or without the man advantage.
3:02 remains.
I don't think this team should ever be doubted again, no matter what things look like. This team should not be judged until we played our final game of the season. Might be right. Last year they judged them they were going to be history, and they were drinking out of the cup for the 5th time in 7 years.
Dave Brown battles along the boards with Rob Blake. Charlie Huddy pinching in from the point, flips it around the boards to the other side. A whistle on the play, and coincidental minors are going to be assessed. Now we have Jay Miller and Dave Brown having an exchange, but the linesmen quickly intervene, and nothing serious is going to develop. Jay Miller did not dress for the last 3 games of the series against the Vancouver Canucks, but it is John Tonelli who is going off with Craig McTavish. That was the penalty call, and then the exchange between Miller and Brown.
There's the penalty right there. You can see McTavish and now Tonelli for roughing or whatever else you want to call him. Miller's had a bad shoulder, and you wonder how eager he'd be to get into a tugging fight, you know, with anybody with the shoulder that has really caused him trouble since late March when he hurt at a game I covered here against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You wonder how many players are anxious to get into a tussle too with Dave Brown after his decision over Jim Kite of the Calgary Flames.
Nobody I know.
Steve Smith at the line, getting set, tees it up, his shot goes wide. Boom at the other point, keeps it in. Finally, it's knocked out to center ice. 2:25 remaining. Pass intercepted by Jelena, spun around by Duchesne.
Duchesne made a nice play there, Don, because he had no time. He gave it away, and then right in his face with Jelena. He took him out very nicely.
Kudelski knocks down Smith in the neutral zone. Rudy plays it up high on the glass for Donnelly. Donnelly picks up the puck at center ice. Donnelly working against Boom. His long shot up high on Bill Ranford. Intercepted by Sandstrom for Gretzky. He throws it out front. It comes back to the point to Halkitis. There's an injured Edmonton Oiler. I believe that's Semenoff who's down in front of the net. A backhand shot saved by Ranford. They jam away at it. And finally the whistle goes. The puck goes in the net, but I think the whistle had gone.
Boy, they waited a long time to blow the whistle on that. The King defenseman had to deke Semenoff when Semenoff was lying as still as can be on the ice. And I don't know whether referee McCurry couldn't see him or whether they thought the injury, you know, didn't deserve to be blown, as the Kings had control of the puck. But he got hit in the face right up at the top left corner there, and down he goes. And he looks hurt, but watch, if we ran this replay longer, you would see the puck came back to the right defenseman for the Kings, and he had to wander around Semenoff, who got hit between the eyes by the look of it. No penalty on the play. It may well have been his own man that he hit.
Semenoff made his National Hockey League debut last year in the playoffs.
There's the deke. The guy can't beat Semenoff on that play, Don. We don't want him in the lineup tonight. But look
Wasn't sure whether to go left or right.
Look how long after the play went. It's his own player that hit him. Now watch this. He's down. He looks hurt. Graves was the guy that hit him. And the play went on for, I know Semenoff must have thought it was an eternity line there. And the referee usually will blow the whistle when the puck got out to the point. But perhaps he wasn't sure, so he delayed. The next thing you know, the puck's right in front of Bill Ranford. But no damage except the Semenoff's nose.
You know, I talked about Semenoff making his NHL debut in the playoffs last year against Chicago. A few years earlier, Glenn Sather inserted Esa Tikkanen into the Edmonton Oilers lineup in a playoff series in Philadelphia. Very few teams would throw a player into his first National Hockey League game in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, I don't know whether Semenoff is going to turn out to be another Tikkanen, but if he is, Sather should be looking for a new guy every year to throw in.
1:23 remaining in the period. Jeff Smith gets it back to Craig Muni. Played up on the right side for Messier. He leaves it there. Tikkanen tried to throw it in front of the net for Glenn Anderson, and it's flipped down the ice.
1 minute remaining.
We're into the final minute of the period, and now we have Some pushing and shoving going on in the corner. Sandstrom is involved there with Jeff Smith. 59 seconds remain.
Two great athletes who have set themselves apart from other great ones in the same business.
Messier tried to center it. It goes off Casper. Messier gets it again. Comes loose. Klima fakes the shot, moves in. Couldn't drag it past Kelly Rudy, and it's fired down the ice.
Well, Klima gave Marty McSorley the old how do you do with that fake shot, but he was a little too far in and couldn't bring the puck back out in front of the net. But McSorley got caught in a spot where he couldn't back up. He was standing still. And when you're in that position with Klima coming in on you, you're in trouble. See, there's McSorley there. Whoa, he's down a little early, and by then he's got to be careful not to wrench his back reaching over to try and make the stop.
Those 3 goals that Klima scored in the final game of the season cost the Edmonton Oilers a rather substantial bonus. He had a clause in his contract that if he hit that 40-goal mark, he would be financially rewarded.
They need this guy to play a little better than he did against the Calgary Flames. He's a game breaker, but he's also breaks the game the other way if you're not careful. And Muck was afraid to use him sometimes.
33 seconds remaining in the period. From the draw, McSorley flips it around the boards. Gretzky couldn't get it out. Messier goes cross ice looking for Klima. Klima takes a shot. That deflected to Rudy. Simpson was in front of the net. That's his favorite position, right in front of that opposition goal, and he gets a lot of goals from that position.
And did he ever tap Wayne Gretzky on that? That's twice Wayne's been really hit hard. And sometimes you have to go a month or 2 before he takes 2 hard jolts. So the fact he was an Oiler doesn't mean anything anymore to the team in blue. Simpson went out of his way to run Gretzky into the glass. Most teams are down 2-1 going into the 3rd period. The other teams think they're in trouble.
As he also has said in the past, he said members of this team know what it takes at playoff time, and that is a key. Rink wide pass for Anderson. Anderson crossing with Messier, lets the shot go up high off the glass, kick right out in front. It's in! They score! Rudy wasn't sure where it was, and as they skated out in front, it deflected a couple of times and went past Kelly Rudy.
Well, it bounced around the crease after coming off the glass. I think it hit Mark Messier. Well, here's the shot by Anderson off the glass. The puck comes back out to the side. It's kicked in front. Now Rudy has no idea where it is. In comes Messier and slaps it between his legs to 20 seconds of the 3rd period to tie the game up. Kelly Rudy's lost the puck altogether here. Marty McSorley didn't know where it was either, didn't take the puck or the man, and Messier swooped in to slap it in the net.
Mark Messier's 3rd goal of the playoffs, and just 20 seconds into the 3rd period. We're tied at 2.
The assist to number 9, Glenn Anderson.
Anderson draws an assist, and Norm McIver also picks up an assist on the goal by Messier 20 seconds into the 3rd period.
Mark Messier, assist to number 9,
Marty McSorley forced back into his own zone, cross ice to Duchesne, lead pass. Renato now to Sandstrom, over to Gretzky. It comes back out across the line. Tikkanen back for Edmonton. Tikkanen to Messier, and it bounced over his stick. Renato starts back. Long shot, and that's kicked to the corner by Bill Ranford. Tikkanen comes back with Messier. Messier stopped at the line. The puck is loose, fired out by Sandstrom. Ahead to Klima. Klima looking for Lamb. Lamb couldn't control it at the line. Robitaille is stopped as he hits the blue line, and the puck is flipped over the boards and out of play. Tonight's game is coming to you from Los Angeles. 18:35 remains in the period. Benning in across the line. He was tied up. Smith starts back for Edmonton. His pass was behind Klima. Taylor mishandled it at center ice. Klima gets it back for Edmonton. He fires it in off Blake. Rudy had some problems at the side of the net. Centering attempt for Klima. He fires it wide. Lamb back of the net. He couldn't do anything with it. Comes up to center ice, and Smith picks it up and fires it right back in.
The Oilers seem to have a little more jump this period, Don. That early goal often gives it to you. The Kings are going to find this period takes a long time to play if they don't equal the Oilers in speed.
Elec's shot. That's kicked out by Ranford. 17:40 remaining in the period. The puck dumped down the ice. Halkitis is going back after it.
5 defensemen. Don't forget that. Now 5 defensemen with Robinson gone. And if the Oilers can pick it up a notch in the speed department, they'll cause all kinds of trouble for these 5 LA King defensemen.
Sorley. He'll be logging a lot of third period ice time, shooting it in. Craig Muni is checked. Puck played ahead to Semenov. Semenov has a patch on his nose, and he has been cut under the eye as well at collision in the second period with teammate Adam Graves. Graves trying to work around Halkitis. It's left there for Jelena. Jelena tried to center it, went off his skate, back to the net. Graves wins the battle with Halkitis to get the puck in front for Jelena. Jelena has Rudy come out and poke it away from him. Jelena tried to go wide. Now Jelena is knocked down. Granato stepped into him, and Granato takes the feed from Gretzky. His shot fired wide of the net. McIver plays it around the boards. Tikkanen for the Oilers. Takes a hit in the neutral zone from Duchesne. Duchesne starts back, then he's knocked off the puck by Tikkanen. Here's Sandstrom in across the line. Sandstrom getting set. In front, he was trying to hit Tonelli, and Tonelli was checked. It bounced away from him. Tikkanen comes back. Messier following on the play. Tikkanen knocked off the puck by Blake. Messier picks it up. Messier tries to throw it into the slot. It's intercepted by Duchesne. Duchesne drops it at the line. Long shot right on. Tonelli let that go from just inside the blue line. 15:50 remaining in the period. 2-2 to score. Messier tying it 20 seconds into the third. This will be an icing call against Edmonton as it's touched by Marty McSorley. 15:39 left in the third.
And the Kings are back on their heels a little bit, at least in this period.
Boom throws it up along the boards. Rink wide pass. Lamb in across the line with McTavish. He tried to drop it back for McTavish. It was behind him. Todd Ellick circles back for the Kings. From the right side to Blake. His shot goes wide. Taylor had been knocked down with the puck knocked out into the center ice area. Now it's Simpson in across the line. Simpson tried to dodge a check but lost control of the puck, and it's picked up by Blake ahead to Benning. Drop back at the line for Ellick, trying to throw it in for Taylor. He's tied up in the corner by Smith. Robitaille checked by Bookaboo. Robitaille trying to get away from the big Edmonton defenseman. The puck goes loose, and it's knocked ahead to Simpson. Simpson looking for Klima. Lead pass. Klima going in. Saved by Kelly Rudy. Klima gets it again. Klima moving in front. Klima scores! What a beautiful move by Peter Klima. He was robbed in the breakaway. He persisted, was allowed to dance in front, and put about 4 fakes on Kelly Rudy before finally firing it into the far corner.
More moves, all kinds of moves. Here's the breakaway. What footwork to get it up to a stick. Off the post, off Rudy's glove and off the post. Klima's upset with that. Duchesne goes flying. Watch this now. About 11 dekes, 5 fake shots to the backhand, back to the forehand, and puts it in. All in about a 5-foot corridor from the side of the rink. And he really excited his teammates on the bench with that play.
He has the ability to do just that. Tremendous speed and great hands, and you saw evidence of that right there. It's now 3-2. Edmonton leading Los Angeles. Simpson and Lamb draw the assists on the go-ahead goal by Peter Klima. his second of the playoffs. Donnelly, long shot, kicked out by Ranford. Well, McTavish was absolutely right when he told Ron McLean in the intermission that the Oilers found themselves in a pretty good position. They weren't concerned.
Well, the Oilers just chip away, playing the same type game, and usually they're rewarded with some results. And they sure have been tonight.
Gretzky, rink-wide pass for Sandstrom. Drops it for Granato. Granato, long shot, that is blocked and deflects up into the crowd. With 13:29 remaining in the third, the Oilers in front for the first time.
Boy, what a play.
Indeed it was, as we switch to the live action. And coming from behind a 2-0 deficit is becoming the trademark of the Edmonton Oilers in this 1991 playoff series. It's the 5th time they've come from behind when trailing 2-0. Puck loose in front of the Edmonton net. Sandstrom back to the line. Benning trying to get set for a shot. Spun around by Tikkanen. Duchesne from the point fires it wide. Tikkanen gets control. Tried to flip it high and out, but it hit a player. Kings unable to center it, and it's hammered down the ice with 12:38 remaining in the period.
What a job Esa Tikkanen's doing on Gretzky. Wayne can go nowhere without the puck or after he passes it.
Benning with a shot up high on Bill Ranford. And this is a long shift for Tikkanen and Gretzky, and Tikkanen has played very well against number 99, and Tikkanen now goes to the bench as Gretzky goes off with a whistle on the play. 12:14 remaining in the third.
Your Kings, thank you for attending.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers have established the record for most consecutive playoff appearances from their first year in the National Hockey League. They've done it 12 years in a row. Kept in by Smith. Benning having some problems with the forechecking there of Klima. Finally, Robitaille helps out and gets it ahead to Alec. Alec knocked off the puck by Edmonton's number 6, Jeff Boutaboom. It goes loose to Craig Simpson. Ahead to Klima. Klima had some problems controlling it. Deflected in by Robitaille. Back after it goes Smith. Lamb takes a shot off a stick wide of the goal. Steve Duchesne being pressured by Semenoff, uses the net to get out into the open area. Rink-wide pass is deflected and fired right back in by the Oilers. Semenoff in the corner. Yelena tried to come in there to help him out. It came out across the line, fired in by Craig Muni. Good forechecking here by this line. Joe Murphy is missing from what was dubbed the kid line last year. He's still out with food poisoning. Semenoff has taken his spot, and this line hasn't missed a beat.
Great quickness and anticipation, and strong.
Lead pass to McIntyre. He was checked as Jeff Smith got back to break up the play.
Joe Murphy's here. He got in tonight, and he doesn't look great, but he says he's feeling better. And Dr. Cameron told me he thought Kevin Lowe might be able to play Saturday. He was very close to being able to play tonight.
Ranford fires it up on the left side. Messier in across the line, and it's whistled down on a two-line pass with 10:19 remaining in the third.
And they all know it, although not very many of them, Don, have played on a lot of those teams. Dave Taylor's played on every one of those teams that couldn't make it to round 2.
And Wayne Gretzky, of course, has played on both teams that were eliminated in 4 straight in the second round. First by the Calgary Flames, and then last year by the Oilers.
Well, if you want to know what kind of a job Tikkanen's doing, not only has Gretzky been held pointless, he's had 1 shot on goal. Tikkanen's had 4 himself.
Sandstrom with a blast from the blue line. Sandstrom has been the busiest shooter for the Los Angeles Kings. Sandstrom is knocked down. He was hit there in the corner, and now
Tikkanen and Gretzky are having an animated conversation. And what is Tikkanen saying? Wayne, you liked this act when I was up against Howard-Chuck. Why don't you like it now?
9:46 remains in the third.
Sure is. Can't do it though when you're down a man, so this is a chance for Gretzky to have a little more ice.
Kings have been outshot 7-1 in the last 10 minutes of the hockey game. Ranford is upset back of the net. He manages to get back into the play. And we've got an injured Los Angeles King.
Rob Blake, the guy that took the rush and was knocked down at the end of it, came right down on his back. And that's the guy that got tangled up with Ranford, who came out of the net to shove the puck around the board. Blake was rushing the puck, tried to penetrate deeply, and it got tangled up with an Oiler defenseman. Down he went, and this is how he now feels. Watch it right here. Now Blake tries to go through to recover the puck, and I think it's Bukaboom that knocks him down, and you can see he lands right on his tailbone. And Ranford got tangled up but got back, and the Kings have lost. If this guy can't continue, that's Robinson and Blake, their two best defensemen. When you're as tall as Blake, when you fall, Don, it's a long way down, especially when you land with your feet and head higher than your back.
Well, Blake has had a great year for the Los Angeles Kings, and 9 of the 12 goals he scored this year have been on the power play, so he's very important to Los Angeles in this situation with still 1:36 remaining in the penalty to Charlie Huddy. But with Larry Robinson being tossed out at 16:34 of the opening period, they can ill afford to lose Rob Blake.
Well, Tikkanen sleeping with Gretzky here at the Forum, and everywhere Gretzky turns after he passes the puck, this is what he gets. Now, you know, for a period or even a game, that isn't too bad, but if this goes 6 or 7 like it probably will, he's going to be so sick of that Tikkanen. He gets this attention, but and he won't admit it, but I think Tikkanen gets under his skin as well as does a good job of checking. Last year, someone wrote that Esa Tikkanen, who is always talking, would give Woody Woodpecker a headache. The Los Angeles coaching staff said simply that Wayne Gretzky would have to play through the checking of Tikkanen in this series. Well, they know that Muckler changes every line to get Tikkanen out there to play against him, and so it's impossible to get one guy away from one when the opposing coach is willing to do that. Messier comes in across the line with Tikkanen. Fires it around the boards. And Tikkanen is going to the bench on the change. McTavish comes out. McTavish is going to force Duchesne in his own zone. He gets it to Gretzky, who I'm sure is quite relieved to see Tikkanen now on the bench. Over to Robitaille. Robitaille working against Craig Muni. It goes loose in the corner. Sandstrom whips it back to the point. Benning fakes the shot, now throws it into the corner. Robitaille couldn't control it. Mark Land has it, and he'll skate it up. 39 seconds remaining in the penalty. 8:23 remaining in the third. Edmonton leading by a score of 3-2. Duchesne flips it ahead to Taylor. Taylor gets set. Ranford came out to cut down the angle. Bill Ranford has looked a lot more confident as this game wore on. In the first half of it, many of the stops he made, he didn't know where the rebound was going. I don't see that happening to him now. Back of the net, Gretzky throws it up to the point. Duchesne's shot, loose in front of the net. They score! Luc Robitaille, I'm sure, was the guy that stuffed it in after the shot came from the point. With 7:53 to go and 7 seconds left in the penalty to Charlie Huddy, we've got a tied game. Luc Robitaille gets his 5th goal of the playoffs. And he's tied for the team leader. He's ahead now in the team lead for playoff goals. There it is there. Ranford sees the puck behind him, but he can't get his glove on it. Here's a better look. There's the shot. Robitaille tips it. It rolls between his legs, and Ranford's just a second too late. Here's how the reaction looked on the LA bench. Rob Blake's back so sore he can't even get up to cheer. That's a bad sign.
Well, that's what Gretzky does so well from behind the net, is look for that guy sneaking in from the point. He found Duchesne, and Robitaille was in front of the net. Deflected pass, Bill Ranford. The game is tied at 3. That's the second power play goal of the night for the Kings. Sandstrom had the first. Robitaille gets this one. Kudelski throws it back to Halkitis. Shane and Gretzky drawing the assists on Robitaille's 5th at 12:07. Jelena pokes it to the corner. Blake back out there for the Kings. I'm sure Los Angeles hockey fans are relieved to see him returning to the fray.
And he may have been winded, you know, when you come down with your feet up in the air and your arms up in the air, and you land on your back. Sometimes it knocks the wind out of you.
Bukabo checked by Alec. Todd Alec is still looking for his first playoff goal. Anderson in across the line. Here's McTavish, and McTavish had an open net. Couldn't get the shot away. Picked up by Simpson in the corner for McTavish. McTavish to Simpson. He tried to move it back to the point. Intercepted by Gretzky. Gretzky behind his back. McSorley's shot goes wide. Duchesne keeps it in. Since that tying goal, the tempo has definitely picked up here in the third. Gretzky trying to kick it free. Takes a shot from a sharp angle. Goes off the side of the net. Out to Duchesne. Glove save by Ranford. And there's a penalty coming up too, I believe.
And they're looking for 5 minutes. I think it's Craig Simpson that's going to get it. And of course, they all run over to see if the guy's cut. There's Gretzky lobbying for 5.
But what a save by Ranford to prevent the Kings from going ahead. Sandstrom and Robitaille, the marksman with the man advantage. Tonelli taking the face-off against McTavish. McTavish won that draw. The Oilers play it down the ice. Racing after it is Messier. Messier takes a shot, flips it to the side of the net. It goes back of the goal now, and Blake has it. Ahead to Gretzky. Looking for Granato. Granato was upended as he came in across the blue line. Fans reacting, thinking there should have been a penalty call. As Harry pointed out earlier, Granato sometimes goes down rather easily.
Now, he has the reputation as a diver, and that cost him some penalties that he thinks he probably deserves to draw from opponents, but doesn't get the break.
1:13 remaining in the penalty as Sandstrom takes the pass from Gretzky. Gets it to Duchesne. Duchesne fanned in his shot as he was being checked by McIver. Played around the boards, and Tikkanen gets it out of the zone. 5 minutes remaining in the third period. 52 seconds in the penalty. McSorley flips it back to the net, tries to go in after it, was tied up by Smith. Gretzky has it in the corner. Behind the net for Robitaille. Centering attempt as he was looking for Sandstrom went wide. Sandstrom digs it out. Over to Robitaille. Out front, shot by Benning, and that is high. Gretzky gets it in the corner for Sandstrom. He deflected it wide. Robitaille back to the point to McSorley. McSorley takes a shot. That hit the Edmonton defenseman Craig Muni up high on the shoulder. Over to the other point. Long shot wide of the net. Gretzky was cutting through the crease. Now it's Sandstrom for Gretzky. Gretzky looking out front. Tremendous pressure here by the Kings with 3 seconds left in the penalty. Back of the net. Sandstrom trying to move it out front as the penalty is over. Back to the line. McSorley lets it go. Ranford makes the save. Puck comes to the line. There's another shot by Benning. It's blocked and flipped out of the zone.
Absolute furious pressure by LA. This is the LA team that we saw play so often on the power play during the regular schedule.
Donnelly passing ahead, looking for Taylor. Taylor goes crashing into the Edmonton net and takes it off its supports. 3:36 is the time left with the score tied at 3.
And that's when the Oilers want him to be his strongest in the last 4 minutes of this game.
Smith tees it up. His shot right to the goal mouth. Semenoff was there, but Rudy poked it away from him. Now it's Ella trying to work around Smith. He throws it in front, and it's grabbed by Ranford, and he holds it with Donnelly driving for the net.
This is normally the checking line for the LA Kings, and Casper's normally the center on it. But we saw Casper leave with the LA trainer Peter Demers and hasn't returned. So Webster has put Todd Ellick in there at center on this line, although they're going to change everybody now.
Webster has been doing some nervous pacing tonight back and forth behind that Los Angeles bench. Usually he doesn't move much or show a great deal of emotion.
He hasn't been this far in the NHL playoffs yet, Don. And, he hasn't faced the Oilers, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, in his coaching career in the playoffs. Those things do make you a little nervous.
First time that the Kings have carried home ice advantage into the second round of the playoffs. They're trying to make the most of that situation. McIntyre is out there for the faceoff. He gets the draw back to the line. A shot by Halkitis, and that is steered out by Ranford. McTavish to Messier. Poked away from him, picked up by McIntyre. McIntyre trying to move in against Huddy. Huddy sprawled, it comes out front. Halkitis came racing into the point, in from the point, but the Oilers got there first. Halkitis stops the play at the line. Anderson is spun around. The whistle had gone. It was an offside call.
2:53 to go. The Kings have had their best period by far, and really have, if it hadn't been for Bill Ranford, this game wouldn't be sitting as a tie as it is right now, and the Kings know that. They're coming on, but the Oilers, Peter Klima is going out to give us another stick handling demonstration. If he can do that again, then we know it isn't lucky. This guy's got one of the longest sticks in the National League and handles it as smoothly as guys with short sticks. Now, most good stick handlers, that stick would come up to, oh, I don't know, 2-3 inches under your chin. This one comes up to Peter Klima's eyes. He's got soft hands.
What about the tape job on his stick?
Peter's got a little ham in him, you know, and he's got that tape job like that, so guys like you and I will say, what about that tape job on Peter's stick? The drummer he marches to doesn't march in every parade.
Back to the line. Lamb tied up behind the net. Klima races to the corner, but Duchesne got there first. Ahead to Sandstrom. He fell down, but he managed to shovel it out of the zone. Fired right back in by the Oilers. McSorley flips it off the glass, and Craig Muni has to retreat into his own zone.
Tikkanen's out against Gretzky, and the puck goes into the LA zone. Tikkanen hangs out about the middle of the blue line, waiting to see which way number 99 is going to go, and that's the way he goes. He doesn't get in and forecheck the way he normally would. He didn't have the assignment to look after the breakup.
And I think he relishes that assignment. Today, when we were talking to him and asking him about shadowing Gretzky tonight, he just smiled. Said he was looking forward to the game. Blake pokes it to the corner. Granato races in there. He and Jeff Smith bump. And now a penalty is going to be called as Graves goes down. Granato, I think, is going to get the penalty call for hauling down Adam Graves.
He hauled him down by giving him in the elbow or the end of the stick right in the face. And Adam Graves is down. Boy, there's been a lot of players down on that ice tonight. It hasn't appeared to be nearly as rough a game as any of those Calgary games have been. But as we mentioned earlier, the sticks and elbows have been up to a greater degree in this game than in any of the games in round 1 in the Edmonton series. And there's a little bit of blood. You got to wonder whether this is going to be a 5. 1:40 to go. We know one thing. It's going into the overtime if the goal isn't scored. Here it is. If that isn't the call. Here's the call right there. Whoa! He cross-checks Adam Graves right in the face.
John Cherry remarked about the number of players cut in that Edmonton-Calgary series. There have been a lot of players cut in tonight's hockey game.
Absolutely.
The Kings penalty to number 21, Tony
Granato, I think, is fortunate that he only drew a 2-minute penalty there.
He sure is, because there's no doubt about it. Graves had a little blood, but it's a tiny one under his lip there. Not enough for a 5 in the game, is it?
Graves made the comment following that 7th game against Calgary that he hadn't had as much fun in a hockey game since the final minutes of the Boston Bruins series last year, when they knew they were going to win the Stanley Cup.
Well, you know, the Stanley Cup playoffs is an amateur tournament, Don, not a professional tournament. The Calgary Flames, to give you an example, the Calgary Flames played 7 of the toughest games I've ever seen, and they get $3,000 a man for it. So they played that kind of hockey for less than 400 and change in a game. And anybody who wins the Stanley Cup is going to play for less than $1,000 a game. So if you can't become an amateur in April and May, you're never going to get a chance to carry that cup around the rink like you'd like to.
So the Los Angeles Kings will play the final minute and 40 seconds of this hockey game. A man short. Anderson was stopped at the line. It's fired in by Tikkanen. Halkitis races after it. Simpson gets there first. Halkitis bumps in. McSorley tried to get it out. Kept in. And a pass across ice is intercepted by McIntyre. McIntyre comes to the line trying to get around Tikkanen, throws it out front. But they just failed to convert that one.
You know one thing, Larry Robinson would be out there if he was available now, throwing out 5 in a game for cross-checking in the first period.
Rink wide pass to McIver. McIver gets it back at the point. Tikkanen shot. Saved by Rudy. Messier knocked down heavily. Back to the line to McIver. McIver throws it in back of the goal to Messier. He tried to flip it out front. Gets tangled up in sticks and skates back of the goal. Gretzky can't get it out. McIver over to Tikkanen. Tikkanen fakes the shot back to McIver at the side of the net to Simpson. Back to McIver, 24 seconds. Tikkanen with a shot. Anderson throws it to the other corner to Simpson. Back to McIver. He tried to one-time it. It bounces to the goal mouth. Rudy makes the save. And then Anderson is sent flying as he tried to dig it loose.
Well, one good thing about overtime in the playoffs is at the LA Great Western Forum, they do the ice. If they ever had to play a long overtime period on this kind of ice, you'd need a snow blower if you ever got a breakaway.
There are just so many events in this building.
Well, Marty McSorley, he's been one of the playing one of his more pleasant games, I thought, but as Anderson gets knocked down there by another player did, here's McSorley coming in, and they're trying to get him off Rudy. McSorley gives him just a bit of a knee drop to remind him he's out there. And Kelly Rudy covered the puck up then in a dangerous situation. Both goalies have played strong games tonight. The shot's 34-30. And when you're a goalie and you know the next shot means the game's over if it goes in, the pressure just keeps mounting.
Well, basically, ever since that score was tied at 3, it's been an overtime hockey game.
Well, the Oilers have a chance here. There's 33 seconds left on the penalty to Granato. 13 seconds left in the game. Regulation time. So should they win the draw, they'll have a man advantage here to throw it around, see if they get the winner.
This is an unusual combination up front. Messier, Semenoff, and Klima.
Well, they don't have one worry about a shorthanded goal against because the Kings are not thinking that way at all.
Well, the fans respond as McIntyre flips it down the ice, and that should kill off the final 13 seconds. Messier and McSorley are still deep inside the Los Angeles blue line, and now they're pushing and shoving, doing a little cross-checking, and very quickly The linesman stepped between them, but they gave each other a pretty good shot with their stick before the linesman got back there as the final seconds ticked away.
Oh, friendships disappear when the Stanley Cup appears.
Bust in quickly and score. I think that smile will disappear very quickly. Mark Messier plays it up on the right side, too far for Anderson, and it's fired back in. Just 5 seconds remaining, and it looks as though the Kings are going to survive that cross-checking call against Tony Granato. McIntyre overskated it. It comes loose. McSorley brings it up the ice. Long shot up against the glass. Granato racing in against McIver. Granato was knocked down. The puck loose in the corner. Tikkanen plays it down the ice. And this will produce a whistle, an icing call against the Oilers with 45 seconds gone by in overtime. They tried to get the puck back to the line, anticipated by Tikkanen, and he intercepts. Long shot, gloved by Kelly Rudy. He leaves it there for Blake. Blake flips it around the boards. Jeff Bukaboom, a long shot, and Rudy has to quickly grab that one as Bukaboom was up against the boards just outside the circle, and he threw it right at the net.
This is a good time in overtime on shoot-ins to put it up on the glass, to shoot it around the boards behind the goalie. This rink is not a trustworthy rink for where that puck's going to go. Lamb nearly tips Jeff Bukaboom's little lob shot past Kelly Rudy. Kelly wasn't sure where the puck was, but it was going pretty slow and an easy tip to handle. But as I was saying, that puck could start around the boards and hit something and come right out in front once it gets up on the glass in this building.
Lamb has yet to score in the playoffs this year, but he was an overtime hero last year in the first round series against the Winnipeg Jets. Lema tried to play the draw back to the point after he got it from Lamb, but he put it between the two defensemen, Smith and Bukaboom. Taylor is out there watching Smith. He leaves it for Lamb. Lamb got to the neutral area, couldn't progress any further. Now a lead pass ahead for Klima. He attempted to shovel it around the defenseman. Picked up by the Kings. Here's Robitaille, a shot saved by Ranford. Robitaille spun around in the corner, gets it again. His shot goes just past the far post. Elliott back to the line. Duchesne with a shot. I don't know whether Ranford got a piece of that one or not, but it came to the side of the net. The Oilers trying to get it out of there, and finally they succeed. Duchesne ahead to Robitaille. Robitaille throws it in front. Gretzky circles. Gretzky looking out for Duchesne, and Duchesne's shot deflected wide of the net. Another shot from the point by McSorley. Ranford makes the save. Early pressure in this overtime by the Kings. Here comes Gretzky. Gretzky drops it at the line. Robitaille shot, he scores!